Welcome to Universal Studios in the UK, and we can see the concrete pad in the distance, and brick crushing continues. The Volvo truck there moving away from the brick crusher, and you can see this whole road, which is starting to be formed down to the Cemex plant on Amtil Road. Now, we celebrated last week expecting that this might be the start of construction of a theme park, when in reality I think all of the works going on at the moment are in relation to the planning application that was submitted in June or July to repair this area of landslip, which backs on to the Cemex factory on Amtil Road. And you can see there that the area in the drone footage is where the landslips occurred, and it's heading towards that fence line at the top, and there's a real fear that this could continue, and if there's another winter of wet weather, that area at the top there near the fence could collapse and cause real issues for the owners of the land now, Comcast. So what's going to happen over the next few weeks is the former brickworks buildings that are demolished and left on site are all being crushed down, and that's going to help create aggregate which can be used to create a whole road. Some of it will be used to secure this land here, but the idea is there will be access into this area for cranes and piling equipment, which will secure this bit of land for the future and stop it heading even closer to that fence line. There was talk that there might be access to the land from Cemex, but I can't see that there's any actual evidence that that's going to occur. There's no clear clearance of anything in the factory there. You can see this little bit of possible access road around the back that looks like it's dumped bricks, but I can't see anything around that suggests there's going to be access via the factory itself. Perhaps there'll be some crane usage from the yard when the factory's closed, but there's nothing that suggests they're going to be able to use the factory itself to access this area. So that's going to be what's going on site. So there is going to be some more deliveries. There's going to be more brick crushing, and it's all for this area here, which isn't part of the SDO. It's all covered by a separate planning application. So what's actually going on site at the moment? Well, we can see here there's more deliveries. Looks like a water tanker being delivered this afternoon. A bit smaller than the one that's actually on site at the moment, but maybe that's going to help load the dust suppressor a bit quicker. Maybe that's actually something that can have a dust suppressor on it. I'm not sure. A very small thing there. I missed that when I filmed this earlier, and Google's suggesting it's an excavator. Looks very small, so I'm not sure what that actually is. And here's the brick crushing going on. This is this afternoon. You can just see the amount of dust coming off it. Huge amount of dust. You can see it, like I said, from Amtil Road there on the drone. But the process obviously creates a lot of dust. But I'd expect that suppressor on the left there maybe to be soaking this. There doesn't seem to be a great deal of water being poured onto it. I'm not an expert, fully admit that, but you can see the amount of dust coming off here, and as the drone moves away you can just see it, and we're at 50 meters here, but it's very tiny. You can see the pile there. So as they're creating the aggregate, it gets piled up on the left, and you have the two excavators working away. And on the bit further across, there's that tanker which got delivered. I think that came a week ago now. And then you can see across the site the piles of stone and debris from the old buildings that are being worked by the three big excavators and the big Volvo truck. And it seems that they've concentrated on breaking these down. Like I said, it isn't SDO related, but the site clearance is a process that has to happen. You know, it's taken a long time at Luton to clear the site there for Power Court, and it's something that has to happen here in Kempston Hardwick. Quick overview from an old picture shows all the stone piled up around here, and over the next few weeks this will be cleared. Here's a bit of footage that was filmed in, I think it was summer 24, and it shows the area that's being worked at the moment. You can see those big pieces of rubble from the old brickworks buildings, and these were just left when they were demolished. You know, the site, abandoned for several years, was going to be a business park, and then was bought by Universal to make their new theme park. So they're all being crushed at the moment. The planning application suggested that the work site for the landslip working and the brick crushing had to be away from the houses, and now this new fence line's been erected. This was being put up today, the 19th of November, and this is securing this area where they're working the brick and the concrete that's left over, making sure they've got somewhere safe for everyone to work in, and also giving them a designated area, because I assume that other people will be on site over the next 3 weeks as well. So it just marks this off, shows where the bricks can be crushed, and gives them their own safe working. So good to see. As always, I wouldn't expect anything else, to be honest. You know, these are all professionals doing this. There's the cones that marked the area they were using last week, and a pile of fencing going up. So clearly a long-term project here. You can see the excavator. This was Monday morning, nice and early in the morning, starting to create more piles from everything that had been spread previously. So that would all have been picked up and put into the jaw crusher that was crushing everything else. And we'll be able to see over the next couple of weeks these piles of brick and concrete, and I think they're called brick bats, that were left on the site. And here's the process itself. So you've got this excavator here, and you can see it picks up the concrete and bits that were left over, sorts them out, creates another pile. So it creates 2 piles, it shakes it all, then puts the larger stone to the right, and then they're loaded into the big Volvo truck, which transports them across, loads them up. Now these are filmed on different days, so that might be the same excavator that's in this video, but the excavator on the right loads up the crusher. You can see here the dust suppressor's on. You can see the water blasting across the end. Maybe the dust cloud isn't a dust cloud. Is it water? You can see. Maybe it is water. It does look like dust. But yeah, the Volvo truck drops it there. It's crushed, and then the excavator at the front loads it into a nice tidy pile. So we can see that that's the process that they're doing at the moment to create this aggregate that'll be used for the whole road. So the road will be created down from the concrete pad all the way down from Manor Road down to Amtill Road, and that's where the work will continue to secure that area of landslip. So as we come to the end of the video, a bit more footage there showing you can see the dust suppressor really working there, blowing the dust as the jaw crusher's working onto the ground and not letting it drift off into the distance. So good to see all the environmental works continuing, site clearance happening. More will be loaded onto Facebook, so if you're not following me on Facebook, do drop me a like on there and a follow on there. And here's the site as it was on Monday morning, and we'll be back in the future for an update and keeping an eye on this over the next few weeks. And hopefully soon we'll see the theme park being built. But for now, I'm afraid it is just the landslip area being repaired, and we'll come back to this in the future. Thanks a lot.